Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of
Wine and
You guys notice anything new?
I love it.
I'm gonna try something different for y'all.
Flagger.
Stand kids.
Face card. Never decline. Which is actually a really good segue to the topic.
Yes! I didn't even know I was doing that on purpose.
We're going to talk about code switching, but not code switching in the way that most people think. We're going to talk about not just being Black in America, but being Black and a Caribbean Black in America. That's a whole another lifestyle of switching back and forth to be, I don't want to say assimilated, but to be able
assimilated is a good word.
Assimilated or balanced.
No, assimilated. Okay. For me, assimilated just rings true for me.
All right.
Like, ooh. Let's uncork.
And unwind. But before we start, what are we drinking?
We're drinking.
I was barista today.
We're drinking.
We're drinking, and everything's to taste, but we'll put the recipe below.
Say you're a lush without saying you're a lush.
Right. So we split a Cutwater, one can of Cutwater, a shot of Jim Beam, whatever flavor you like.
We did pineapple.
Shot. It was probably a little more than a shot, I would think. Realize I whispered too low.
Well, to be fair, a shot for us is a different for a shot for the good people.
It's true. It's true.
So we had a shot, which was a shot to our liking.
Correct. And just a little bit of Prosecco to top it off.
Okay, cheers.
Yep. And you can use whatever flavor Cutwater you want. We chose Lime Margarita. My hand. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I didn't do nothing. Okay, cheers.
I gotta maneuver.
I don't mind it, but I'm also sucking on a cream soda lollipop. So
the amount of sweet that's just,
it's sweet.
Or does it sometimes sweet tarts and tart sweets. Am I making sense? Like bitter will make something sweeter.
Oh no, I like this. Whatever this is, whatever you done did to this concoction is good. So I had the bubbles and the tartness, the prosecco, but then that lime kicks in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good, y'all. We just be back here making shit up. I want you to know we don't know what.
It says wine, but that doesn't mean we gotta drink wine.
Somebody called that out to me the other day.
Really? It's like it's wine and whispers. What do you? But you're not drinking wine. You're drinking Cutwater.
She was like, "So is it now called liquor and whispers?" I said, "No, girl. It's still wine and whispers. Just sometimes
we don't want wine.
Don't want wine.
It's winter. I'm trying to stay warm.
In the summertime, we'll go back out and we'll do another wine tasting.
How about this? How about this? You know,
don't make promises we can't keep.
Give us a recommendation for wines. Oh. And or if you are a wine company out there and you want us to be able to do a tiny plug, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. Or give us your recommendations.
We can do it. Let's get a sommelier.
Ooh.
I think I know a sommelier.
Who is a sommelier?
My friend of a friend.
Okay. These glasses are a little bit big on me. I feel like I'm like having to.
They can't go nowhere.
I know, but it doesn't feel like it's sitting on me either. Like, you know how you feel it sit behind your ear?
But they're longer, your ear bands. That's not the word. The arm of the glasses are longer than your actual ear because they're not curving around your curvature of your ear.
Right. I guess that's fine. Excuse me. Anywho, back to the conversation at hand. Have any of the good people, and I let me backtrack. Let me backpedal. I think Nikita and I have said this on multiple episodes, and we never dive into it. But like the experience of being Black in America
Mm-hmm.
is different than being Black in America with the Caribbean background.
Mm-hmm.
We have hinted and skirted around it for some time, right? When we were talking about different experiences, especially when we did like the episode about Black women in America, right?
Absolutely.
And the different things that come as obstacles along the way, just trying to survive as a Black woman in America or a Black person in America, rather.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was important. I came across something and it was, talking about the difference between not just being Black in America, but being, firstborn, secondborn generation,
It's annoying.
Caribbean, West Indian,
It's annoying.
tomato, however you want to call
You
it,
have a lot of
identify
weight
yourself.
and pressure.
Right. It's different. But I want to give a little bit of a historical context to it so it can make sense to those who are not and understanding the perspective of how life is being navigated.
Before you give me a historical background, I just have a quick question.
Sure.
To talk about first generation. Are you now, with the way that the world is, are you contemplating becoming a dual citizen?
If I had the opportunity to do it, I would.
Why not?
I don't know if my mother has those connections anymore in the same capacity.
But you don't need a connection. You can do it through the Haiti embassy here, which is what I'm gonna go do.
Okay. I don't know.
That'd be nice.
And then given the climate of everything with America and Haiti, I don't even know if I can.
That's a valid point. Okay, that one is a more valid point than if your mother has capabilities, because there's definitely capabilities. Because my behind is about to go to Trinidadian embassy and say, "Hey, you see this right here? My grandfather and my mother are both Trinidadian.
Although your prime minister, excuse my language, she ain't shit. But then,
She ain't shit.
But
Low
CARICOM ain't shit. But that's a whole other story for another day.
Never story. But then I also think about, do I want to use my father's Guyanese passport and go become Guyanese?
They also gave shit too.
No, but they're self-sufficient. They're the first country and the only country that's self-sufficient. So should I just go to Guyana? Okay, sorry. Go back to my historical context.
Yes. So historical context. I'm not even going to get into the history of just Haiti, just Caribbean overall, right? So all Caribbean countries were at one point under the governance of a European nation.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
So how did Americans disassociate themselves from feeling like they were white Americans, should I say? White Americans, even the poor white Americans, disassociate themselves from being adjacent and or equal to the Black Americans once freed here in America. Aside from color, there was this huge, and it still lives, and it's ingrained in the stereotypes that we currently know today, right? Of Black people are lazy, they don't want to work.
Even though they was the one in your fields picking your cotton.
But to keep the white poor feeling as if they were superior to them, they created these narratives, which then trickled over from the European countries and the mindset of being able to make them feel, even the Caribbean countries feel superior to Black Americans, was the same thing, feeding them their propaganda. That's why I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you are a firstborn or secondborn Caribbean child, your parents will say Black Americans are lazy. They're not worth anything. They're all on welfare. Where do you think that mindset came from?
Fucking annoying, because you might be on welfare too. But because you West Indian, it don't affect you and you're not the same type of person. That's mad fucking annoying.
Until it does. Right? Until you get that first dose and hit of coming here or being born here and realizing that
you Black.
You're Black, right? Right.
I'm so sorry, but I just had to say, you Black.
You're not your African American counterparts treat you differently because you have an accent, and so you're no longer feeling like, oh, Black Americans ain't shit, because they now it's a tag game, right? It's a tussle of who's quote unquote more accepted or more obedient to the white narrative, right? And then you also have the white people who are looking at you as if like, oh yeah, these guys are hard workers. Look, this such and such from Jamaica has 3 jobs while this American has 1 job. Right? So again, it's the constant, if they can't control the narrative of keeping us in a tussle with each other, they will. Because that's what they want. That's how they're able to control the narrative.
It's one of them where, oh, you're from Guyana, so you're Ghana. No.
Right.
No.
And you know what? Maybe I'm saying Caribbean because we can only speak to what we know. But I want to say that it's maybe it can hold true. And tell me if I'm wrong. It holds true to anyone who's part of the African diaspora.
I think,
and that's why if you notice, whenever we talk about it, I start off saying Caribbean and then I stop and I say African diaspora because I've had a couple of my friends who are from West Africa who has said they've experienced the same thing with the same experiences. And so with that, I want to ask you a question, Nikita. Are you ready?
No. I was gonna be honest. Nope. I'm ready. I'm not, but okay.
Okay. What was the first moment you realized being Black was not enough?
So, I don't think I've ever identified as Black.
Okay.
Even now, like, you know how you fill out those EEOC things?
I do other.
I almost always do other. I think the first time that I actually put Black was when I was doing scholarship opportunities for college.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said put Black, even though she wanted to be white. Different story. That's the only time I ever did it. Other than that, I'm either putting other or sometimes now more recently it says multiracial.
Right.
So I'll tag multiracial. So I don't think I ever realized that being Black wasn't enough because I wasn't Black.
Mm-hmm.
In my brain, I'm West Indian.
Right.
And I understand that West Indian, I'm also Black. It falls into that. But I'm also a pork chop. I'm also Dutch. I'm also Indian, right? I'm Chinese. I'm all of those things. But the thing that sits at the top for me was always West Indian. So in my mind, I could never not be Black.
Right.
Therefore, to me, Black was always good enough. I'm West Indian, so I'm Black.
So I think I'm gonna follow it up with like, okay, so we've both worked corporate, right? So walking into those spaces, and was there ever a point where you felt you needed to hide your Caribbean roots
all the time
to use your Black American quote unquote visual identity in order to get a hand in something?
So I felt like I had to hide that fact that I was a person of color, whether it was Black or West Indian. So I remember being into corporate America, my first big role, and I wore my hair straight. Like how my hair is straight now?
Yeah.
So you guys have seen me. I have been rocking curly for a minute.
Yeah.
No. This is new side of Nikita because Nikita almost never wore her hair curly. When I tell you that Nikita wearing her hair curly is like past 5-6 years.
Wow.
7 maybe max.
Okay.
My hair was straight and my hair was pin straight like this all time every day. The only time it wasn't like this was when I went to the beach, and then I'd come home, wash my hair,
and do it all
dry,
over again,
straighten, and do it all over again. So, and I went to interviews with my hair straight. The first time that I went to an interview with my hair curly was recently.
Oh, wow.
But I went to interviews with my hair straight down. I always went with a blazer and a pencil skirt, right? I always had tights on, and I didn't have tights that matched my color. That was a big thing for me. Couldn't match my color.
So black?
I had black on. Specifically, so you couldn't necessarily tell where my colors were different, right?
Huh.
I always wore black because it was a seamless look. Because I always typically wore a gray pencil skirt.
Okay.
If it wasn't gray, it was blue. Because black was too aggressive.
Got it.
And I couldn't wear my bright colors. So lo and behold, I always wore muted colors to any of my interviews. Hair straight, pulled back, or it was like pulled back with like a little bang at the front, right?
To fit the bill?
To fit the bill of what needed to be accepted in corporate America.
Right.
But meanwhile, it was my intelligence that won everyone the fuck over. But whatever, different story.
Which isn't that crazy, right? Like you have to assimilate yourself not into a black cultural vision, right? But to the kept clean, straight, push back.
Which is also why
prim and proper.
I'm grateful and I'm not grateful at the same time that I have so many different cultures in me. My name is Nikita, which can stem from either Indian or Russian.
I was gonna say that gives me more Eastern European.
So it's technically a Russian name.
Okay.
I was named after a Russian dancer.
Okay.
And I'm a dance teacher now.
Oh wow, isn't that funny?
But I'm named after a Russian dancer. And then my last name Fraser is Dutch.
So they don't know anything.
So they don't know when I come in. So like I'm grateful for my name, absolutely, for that sheer fact that you never know what you're anticipating. And lo and behold, when I was first interviewing, I definitely didn't have like a LinkedIn like that in the sense where you can look me up that well.
Well, LinkedIn came in like what last? I mean, it was there, but it came in like heavily in the last 10 years.
But right, the recruiters are really using it now, right?
Okay.
But even so, if you looked at my LinkedIn picture, my hair is straight in my LinkedIn picture. My hair is not curly in my LinkedIn picture. So I still conform to that idea. So then I would go, I get my interview because they didn't know what my name was. Nikita, again, very vague. You're not knowing what you're gonna get all the time.
Right.
And then I would go in. Typically, if I go into the interview, I typically will get the job. Knock on some wood.
Dup, 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 dup,
Dun,
dup.
dun. But I would typically get the job. And then that's when I decided, fuck the norms. And my first day on the job, I let my West Indian colors show. When I tell you, I would come, and my mom always says that sometimes I have coolie behavior because I like bright colors.
I'm supposed to say that, but go ahead.
That's what my mom would say. And I do like bright colors.
If you didn't catch what I was referencing the term coolie. That's another day for another topic. The terms that are they're in part of the different colloquial languages. But go ahead.
I said what I said when I said it. So let me tell you, but again,
yes, that's intra-Caribbean.
Inter-Caribbean, right? So I would come bright as fuck. My first day never failed. My hair would still be straight, but when I tell you I showed up with bright red on, yellow, orange, maybe a splash of white to mute it down a smidge, and they would look at me and be like,
who did we just hire?
Hey, are you the new hire? Yes, I am. How can I help you today? And it would just be a quick, you could see their face like trying to adjust and get
And try to figure out like what just happened.
Right. And especially when I met with the person that interviewed me and I walk in, I'm like, hi, how are you? And they're just like, oh, well, here's your desk. And how was orientation? It was fantastic. Thank you so much for giving me that knowledge. I'm ready to start working. And they would just look at me and I'd be like, okay.
What would you assume that they're probably thinking?
Where the fuck did this black lady come from with all these fucking colors in my white office? In my whitewashed office? Because every office I've been is whitewashed.
Oh.
I'm always the person of color. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
I will say this. I'm thankful.
And it's always the women that do it.
Oh, yeah. Women are nasty. They're catty. That's a whole nother conversation. But yes, there is a strong distinction between the sisterhood in white women versus black women.
Absolutely.
Big distinction. And a lot of white women are quick to say, we don't have that. We're catty. We're competitive. And, we don't have the same sisterhood. I don't know. You can find someone. Just type it in. Anyone on internet, on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, whatever. They will wholeheartedly tell you the sisterhood isn't there the same way.
It's not. And while we're competitive too, I'm ready to beat you up.
But the competition is not the same. The competition is like, okay, if my sister's down, I'm going to fix her crown. The competition is, I wanted that man. Let me fight you for that man. Or, I wanted this job. But, I don't think Susie can do the job the same way I can do the job. It's we're usually the ones where if they like an outfit, they'll be like, yes, queen, on the outside. And that's it. They keep moving. They don't have to say nothing. Like,
that's literally it.
Right. There's always going to be love. But if I know you directly, then that's when competition happens. There isn't a competition to a stranger in the same capacity.
No, I don't care about that.
Right. So, to answer that question for myself.
Thank you. I was waiting.
I've always been I made mention of the time that I worked and they used being angry, mad black woman against me, right? So since then, I felt like I had to dim a little bit of my personality when I walked into those spaces until my very last job, the one that I left from corporate. I walked into a space thinking I had to, and not realizing the trauma that I experienced.
Fueled this.
Because I would apologize for a lot of things that I didn't need to apologize for in my work. And it was realizing I'm amongst my people. And when I say I was amongst my people, it wasn't just black women. It was such a culturally diverse place. First of all, it was a female-dominated workspace with a lot of female in leadership positions. then you had layers to the different ethnicities that we were servicing because the people we were catering and customer servicing were predominantly migrants. Legal, but predominantly migrants, right? And so it was like, you can be who you are. I entered that job with straight hair. I left the job with the hair that I have now.
You went in with straight hair?
I went in with straight hair, straight permed hair.
I feel like I didn't know you would.
Every 2 weeks, get my hair permed. You didn't know me then because I was living in New York then. Every 2 weeks, I'd go to the Dominican, get my perm,
Yes, Dominican.
have them overly process and blow dry and press my hair out.
Love it, the Dominican doing.
And then as time went on, the amount of beautiful Black women I saw with locks, short hair, natural hair, froze, or just silk presses. I was just like, what am I doing?
Wait, so the people that you saw with all that beautiful natural hair
was a myriad of Black Americans and a lot of
leadership positions?
Positions and Caribbean people. My supervisor, the one that I mentioned who passed, she was Guyanese, and she had a fro.
Yeah, no. So
she had a fro.
I come from a few companies, and while HR, we all know, is highly dominated by women, it is not dominated by women of color. So I remember my last job that I was in, there was one woman of color in HR. She was the HR VP or something. And she sure had straight fucking hair.
Right, because she probably still had to try to fit the narrative.
She sure fucking did, because everyone else was white and her counterparts.
So she
had no choice.
I experienced that with my best friend, right? So my best friend, she works for a very well-known health
company
organization. Okay. And she's worked her way up the ranks, and I'm very proud of her, right?
Yes, queen.
Right? Yeah. And so now she's in these rooms, in these like
the room where it happened.
Right. In these like big CEO cabinet type chair board.
C-suite.
She's in the C-suite, and I'm very proud of her, right? And she was groomed properly by a white woman who was like, listen, I'm going to get this for you. Okay. But she and another Black woman that are both in this space, the most ethnic and then she's, obviously she's Haitian American. And I don't know about I think she said the other person was Caribbean, but I don't know which Caribbean.
Okay.
If the most ethnic they're allowed to be with their appearance is braids, and it's because it's right before they go on some type of vacation.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Any other time, she is in a wig, she's in a weave, she has a short pixie cut, but it's permed, and the same thing with her other counterpart in the C-suite.
Yeah,
and I'll never forget. She wanted to do her nails and she wanted to wear red, and she's like, I can't do it.
She can't.
I can't do it. I said, but
it'll stand out.
And so I said to her, she'll be aggressive. And I said to her, those white ladies sitting in there, I can guarantee you they got red nails.
They do.
She said, yeah. I said, so why do you need to? She goes, because I don't need them to look at me and then start thinking that I'm being a little loud.
Is that she's going to be aggressive?
It's so sad to hear, that these are the things, whether you're Caribbean, and that's what I'm saying. There's similarities and there's differences, right? So similarities in that aspect where regardless if you come from Africa, you come from the Caribbean, or you come from here in America, as a Black woman or a Black male, there's certain things you can do. Like, it reminds me of that episode of Living Single when Kyle was being offered the promotion and he thought he had to cut his hair because he had the locks. And they were like, no, we don't need you to cut your locks. It was the other Black man telling him, you need to groom yourself.
Because you wasn't doing it right.
Correct.
But I mean, it happens everywhere, right? So, yes, there are a lot of similarities between being Black American versus being West Indian American.
Right.
There's a lot of similarities. But I do remember growing up, I'm not as strong in my West Indian pride as I was back then, right?
Right.
I mean, I was, but I wasn't. But I still had an accent every once in a while, depending on what I was talking about. So I remember growing up in my high school era, there were very few people of color. So if my school had 70 kids, the people of color were 7. We made up 10% max. And that's pushing it, even in my grade. And out of those 7 kids, 2 of us were Caribbean. And out of those Caribbean kids, we never fit in with the black people. And we for sure didn't fit in with the white people. So we never really found a home at all. We never had a true home. Because when we were talking about, I'll never forget, I was talking about Christmas. And my Christmas traditions are vastly different than those of my people of color around me. So they would be looking at me and be like, well, what are you talking about? That's not what it is. That's not what you do on Christmas. You're doing it wrong.
I like that you gave that perspective and example, whereas I didn't have that.
I did.
My experience was elementary school was majority white. But by the time I got to high school, there was enough of a shift in the environment where Hispanic, Caribbean, and some African, right? And Indian. And white. And we still had white. I graduated, there was still white kids attending the school.
Of course. You're always going to have white.
Right? That is not the case now.
Really?
Yeah. The good thing about it is we were able to still be ourselves in, like, it was a collective, like, right? So even though you were Caribbean, sometimes there was an issue of being Caribbean where you were made to feel like you had to, we're pinned against each other to not like each other. That was not the case. We had our bachelorette parties, and so we were free to be Caribbean kids living here in America because our parents came, right? So we're first generation born. So by the time I got to college, that was my eye opener, where I was like, y'all never heard of Shaka Zulu? Y'all don't know about reggae music? Like, what is going on here? Like, or being told, oh, you're pretty for a Haitian girl. And I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
The way I would have slapped somebody.
Oh, I didn't slap them, but I slapped them with my mouth, with my words, right? And so much so that, like, I didn't even realize it until, like, I mean, I think I was dating Dre for a couple of years. Maybe it was like second or third year, whatever. And this is when I was starting to get to know some of his family members. He had lied at first and said I was Hispanic, his family, because I guess they weren't ready to.
He called you Hispanic?
Well, technically I do have it in me, but it's not my predominant.
No, it
right?
is not.
Right. So, but he's also had friends of his. He was like, well, don't say that to her. Don't tell her she's pretty for a Haitian girl because she will curse you out and I'll let you. So it shifted from not saying it to saying it. But I wanted
Say it to my face.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
that was my whole high school.
I was born in Brooklyn. My sister was born in Brooklyn. And my stepfather gave my mother an opportunity for us to leave Brooklyn and go to Long Island. Let me be very clear about this so people can get this out the way. People have this assumption because people move to Long Island, which is considered like more of an affluent area, which technically it is. It has its hoods. Don't get it twisted. It has its hoods. That you're better off and you can do better. But he did it and saw it as an opportunity for the educational system because it offered us more. And I'm very thankful for it because there were opportunities that we got to see that we realized we would have never experienced had we still been in Brooklyn. Not to say that Brooklyn didn't have its pockets, because it did. Excuse me. It just so happened to be where we would not have afforded us that. Okay. Sorry. So people hear, oh, Long Island, they think it's uppity, snoopity, persnickety and stuff. But that's not the case.
Not the Hamptons.
But this is the mentality of someone who's maybe in Staten Island or some Brooklyn or certain parts of Queens who hear you're from Long Island. They're like, oh, you're from Long Island.
So,
right?
All right.
The mindset is, oh, you're a little bit posh, so you think you're better than us. No. That's literally the mentality that comes from, right?
But I need people to ask, well, where on Long Island are you from? And then let's have a conversation.
At the time,
from first.
At the time, if the time that I was growing up, there was a big difference between if you said you came from Roosevelt and Uniondale versus if you came from Elmont and Valley Street. Oh, now I can say there's really no difference. No, Valley Stream has maintained itself. Okay. Elmont has shifted the dynamics of what it is now. The demographics of Elmont now is predominantly Indian Pakistani. Indian Pakistani.
I think I'd go rotator. I guess we could on.
He's so silly.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, so there was no having to feel like I had to shift or change who I was because I was surrounded by like-minded. But I also, even though I was surrounded by like-minded, I had to combat I'm not to say my cousins per se, but like people who Brooklyn, oh, like if we went into spaces where we had to do things with different schools and they found out, oh, maybe it was the kids from Hempstead and they hear you from Elmont. Oh, they're looking at you sideways because they think you got money, right? First, or the kids from Uniondale. Again, I know that demographics
Have changed.
and neighborhoods change.
Evolved.
Aside from Hempstead. No. Let's be honest, y'all. Let's be honest.
She said what she said.
The same way. Oh, please. We were little fancy, right? Don't tell me that you came from Black Elmont. There's Elmont and there's Black Elmont.
Oh, there's Montclair and Black Montclair. Yes.
Right.
It's the whole thing.
Right? So, but again, it's the pinning us against each other when we're technically all the same. I want to pivot really quick because there was a book that I read and I thought it was an amazing book.
I'm gonna read it.
And it literally is like an extension of what we're talking about. And one of the stories hit true about so it's called Wild Tongues Can't Be Tamed. And I'm very, very happy.
By Okay.
And that I was going to actually get to that. So one of the authors, please forgive me, I don't remember his name, but I will definitely put in a description. When I was working at a school, he was a student. And so when I saw that he works as a journalist now. And so when I saw that one of the short stories in the book was from him, I was too enthused to purchase it. I mean, albeit that it was Audible, but it's different recounts of growing up first or second generation in America, right? And how having to play both sides just to survive. Yes. So the main author, or it's edited by, I ain't gonna even try to butcher her name.
I'm gonna try.
Sarakia.
So I would have said Sarah Saya.
Okay.
J. Fennel.
Okay.
Sarah Saya, how am I pronouncing it? It's spelled Saracia. That's how I would say it. I don't know if it's right. That's how I feel. I'm gonna go read this book.
Yeah. This one's good. And it has multiple stories. So one of the
wait. So one of the titles, it literally says on the front cover, of course it says the name of the book, but it says 15 Voices from the Latinx Diaspora.
And so there is, I think, he's from Panama, so he talks about his experience as a Panamanian American. And that's the other part about it, right? Although we're Black, we will always put our country first and then say American. So I am Haitian American. You're Trini Guyanese American, right? He's Panamanian American.
I definitely say
you Guyanese Trini?
No, so I definitely say I'm West Indian American because
it's easier.
It's easier than saying.
Oh, I've already trained my kids to say that they're Haitian Puerto Rican American.
It's just so long.
No, it isn't. What are you? I'm Haitian Puerto Rican American. Even my eldest, she asked me, she goes, what do I put? I said, you're going to put other.
Put other. Absolutely.
You put other.
Put other.
And then you write it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You write it in.
You put other, baby girl.
Yep. All right. No, what are you apologizing for?
I don't know. I feel like we got sidetracked, but
no, I think that we are on topic. I mean, we may be a little bit all over the place, but it's still holding true to the topic.
Okay.
What you gonna come for?
You see the neck? You see the neck movement?
A little liquid gold in me, a little liquid courage. I think this is a good question for you.
For me specifically?
I think it's a good question for you. I've gotten it. Have you ever been told?
Are you Dominican?
No. Oh. I know Dominican. I'm Black. Don't come for me, guys.
Okay, sorry.
Have you ever been told you don't act Black or you're not that kind of Black?
All the time. All the time. Wait, so this is a recent story. Did I talk about this already?
No.
I must have. Maybe I told you. So, growing up, right, I called it an Arnold Palmer. It's not in the Black community.
Uptown.
But
the fact that I have to know both.
I didn't know both.
The fact that I have to know both.
So
I'm like, oh, can I get an Uptown? And then certain places I would say it and they look at me and I'm like, oh, Arnold Palmer?
It's always, again, so.
Or half and half.
Arnold Palmer. That's the name. To me, that's always been the name. So I didn't experience that until recently. But again, I know that I grew up. I'm definitely black adjacent in some things, right?
Okay.
Some things I grew up and I was in the black neighborhood and I was with that vibe, that era. Some things I was in the white neighborhood, I was with them. Some things I was in the Latin neighborhood. And so I grew up different ways, right?
Yeah.
I honestly didn't pick that one up growing up because I was for sure up here, yeah, and Arnold Palmer. And she just looked at me and was like, that ain't it. You black adjacent, baby. I was like, well, what it's supposed to be called? Like,
Well,
questions.
it's just so funny that you said that because I think that was the reel that I sent you, and I don't know if I want to put it in here or for it to play out, but it was like a lot. It was like this guy who was singing all of like the black sayings, right? And I realized that
like God is good
all the time. God is good. Good. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. That's one of the phrases.
But let's talk about
Yeah. Those types of things, which is not something culturally known in the Haitian culture. So being able to know those phrases that happen in the black culture versus like you have to be able to turn that switch on and off.
It's so annoying. So thinking about the culture, West Indian black culture, do we as West Indians call it a kitchen? Do we have
the back of your neck?
I know what it is, right?
That's a black thing because that's not a Caribbean thing.
I've never heard about it until here being around other black people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's just I'm learning.
It's called a kitchen because they used to do your hair in the kitchen.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I know why it's called the kitchen now.
Okay.
I just didn't know if it was a person of color thing versus a black cultural thing.
I think it's a black cultural thing.
Okay.
And I think it was really, really cool how I sat there listening to it and I'm like, none of this is part of my Haitian culture.
No, none of it.
None of it. Right? But I know it because I was immersed to be able to fit in both. But at the same time,
you were immersed to be.
I was white adjacent.
You could have been three different things.
3 different buckets. Because let me tell you something. I could get with the best of some of these white kids and I was listening to Green Day. I was listening to Evanescence. I was listening to Limp Bizkit. I was listening to all of the things, the emu. That was the time of the emu.
All of it.
Right. Whereas these kids, they are so far, and you know what? It's funny because they said it. We are more segregated now than we were prior.
We are, which is so sad.
These kids wouldn't be able to code switch the way we code switch. I was watching the Grammys, and I was like, "Oh, they're doing a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne." My daughter is like, "Who is Ozzy Osbourne?" And it goes to show you, like, what we have to do to be able to keep up with the different cultural aspects, to be in spaces and have conversations. Because if someone's having a conversation about this stuff and you aren't keeping up, that's a reflection of, okay, is this someone I want to keep in my circle? Which they shouldn't have to do that in a corporate setting or whatever setting, but it makes you more personable when people want to do it. Can that be argued? Possibly.
No, it can't, because it can. The way that I code switched at work, the fact that I could talk about any genre of music,
right?
The fact that I can talk about almost any movie type, the fact that I could talk about different books, the fact that I can talk about different movies, shows, the fact that I had the nerds who, when I tell you my first stops in any corporate job was the kitchen and IT. It's the kitchen and IT. Why? Because I can talk food with people.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about food,
and if something's wrong with your computer, you can get your computer fixed easily because you were nice to them.
Correct, all the time. But they wanted to talk about hard drives and motherboards and anime and things of that nature. I can talk all of those things.
Right.
And then when I met with the jocks, they wanted to talk about cars and this, that, and the third. Yeah, I can talk about that.
You have to be able to adapt.
You want to talk about rugby? I can talk about rugby and tennis and golf. And then when I'm with my cultural people, they want to talk about cricket. I can always talk about cricket. Like, I can do all of those things.
Are you tired? I know I was tired.
I was always tired. Always.
Because your brain has to literally prepare and switch. It's like a computer.
You see the person and they're walking towards you, right? Jane is walking towards you. And you have to process.
Jane.
Yeah. Jane is walking towards you. And you have to process. Jane is from Cambridge. Jane grew up in Boston. Jane knows what pickleball is. Jane wants to talk about the fact that Bitcoin is crashing right now. Okay. Jane walks away. Here comes Michelle. Michelle is from Camden, New Jersey. And Michelle wants to talk about the fact that the Philly Eagles are dominating in Super Bowl or whatever. Now you need to figure out and talk about that. Oh, but here comes Michael. Michael's from Guyana. Michael wants to talk about the fact that his mom is coming at him because he doesn't have a nursing degree. Instead, he became a paralegal.
Right.
My brain hurts just thinking about that because that was my brain.
That's exactly what it is.
My whole neck just cracked just thinking about the stress going through about who was walking towards me in the moment and sifting through my brain about what I needed to talk about, who I was talking to, what topics were relevant to this specific person. Oh God, it hurts.
That's also like I don't know if you saw, it was like some girl, she was singing some song and it said I can't date too far out of my culture because
how do I explain the fact that we over here having a bashment party at 4 a.m. in the morning and we didn't start till 12 a.m.
Right.
That's not the one. That's
or you winding up in a corner with such and such, but yet your man's sitting there, he's having a conversation with somebody else and not paying no mind to you.
How you can't date too far out your culture? Because how do you explain that you're up here whining on old boy, but old boy don't mean nothing to you, even though your husband over there?
Right. How do you explain that? Or how do you explain some of the sayings to people? Right? Like,
it's true. How do you explain it?
You can't.
That hurts.
Did we miss anything? Let us know. Like, are you living in that in between life? Are you code switching? And again, there's code switching where you like, you you're homie, you're speaking comfortable, you're whatever have you, and then there's code switching where you're speaking to Martha from HR, and you're like,
I was Martha from HR.
She was Martha from HR. No, but they knew they could speak to you comfortably.
They did.
You were not that Martha. You are not that Martha. Okay.
Oh God, it's so funny.
By the way, I call Mimi Bertha. I gave her old lady name because sometimes she be doing old lady things, so I just have to call her Bertha. She hates it.
I have some people I call.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, can you code switch?
Before we,
although I've been made fun of when I code switch and speak. There's like, that's the most proper way I've ever heard you say.
Wait, so I was in the story.
People tell me that I say things properly when I code switch into like Black cultural colloquialism.
So,
just so you know, that's my favorite word. Colloquialism.
Right. So I was definitely here at the studio one day, and I was on FaceTime with one of my boys. So I've known him since I was for a while. Okay, just say for a while. So he's seen me from a kid to now. So we're FaceTiming and we're talking, we're having a conversation, and someone approached me. So I gave him the universal sign. 1 minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I code switched immediately. Hey, how are you? How can I help you? Oh, yeah. I really don't know about the parking apps right now, but I know what they're currently using. My teacher told me that, da 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 da. And then person left. I went back to my phone. I was like, yerp. And he looked at
literally.
Me. He looked at
literally
me and was like, did that just, I said, did what? Like, it didn't process in my brain what he was flabbergasting about.
Because it was seamless. But you know what gets me even more? When we do it with each other, or I do it with my sister. My sister and I, we can call each other and we can yerp and talk.
Yerp.
Right? And then other times we will have like really intellectual conversation and we talk properly. I do it with Dre. And it's not until like I'm aware of the conversation that I realize we're either talking like really, really comfortable or we're talking in a proper, like when we're handling logistics. Oh, are you going to send the email to the teacher? Are you going to send? And then I'm like, okay, this is what it sounds. Or I'm writing this work email. Even you, sometimes when we're talking about certain things, when we're trying to get these things mapped out for the podcast, we're very proper. You never noticed that? We're we go back into our corporate minds and our corporate voices. And then when we're getting ready to do this, we're very much like two girlfriends sitting on a couch.
Yep.
It's natural. It's seamless. It's one of those. And then when we want to be like really like turn up and fit, we just throw in a little bit of our accent, like I don't have so much of an accent because Creole is not my first language, but every now and then when I want to joke around about something, you definitely hear I talk a little ice.
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem, my friend. Why you look at me like that?
I didn't.
Why you look at me like that? Don't do that.
I'm looking this way.
Don't do that, okay?
Okay.
I don't appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can't even keep a straight face, bro.
Okay. That's a wrap, everybody, okay? I love you. Good night. God bless you.
Bye, Wispies.
Hey Wispies, thank you for joining us for another hard-hitting girl talk. If you have a topic or question for us, send us a whisper at info@wineandwhispersclub.com. That's whispers with an S. See you next time, Wispies.